Proverbs chapter 28. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Because of the transgression of a land, many are its princes. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, right will be prolonged. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain which leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one who is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoever keeps the law is a discerning son, but the companion of gluttons shames his father. One who increases his possessions by usury and extortion gathers it for him who will pity the poor. One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Whoever causes the upright to go astray in an evil way, he himself will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will inherit good. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor who has understanding searches him out. When the righteous rejoice, there is great glory, but when the wicked arise, men hide themselves. He who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. Happy is the man who is always reverent, but he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people. A ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, but he who hates covetousness will prolong his days. A man burdened with bloodshed will flee into a pit, let no one help him. Whoever walks blamelessly will be saved, but he who is perverse in his ways will suddenly fall. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity will have poverty enough. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man will transgress. A man with an evil eye hastens after riches, and does not consider that poverty will come upon him. He who rebukes a man will find more favor afterward than he who flatters with a tongue. Whoever robs his father or his mother and says, "It is no transgression," the same is companion to a destroyer. He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoever walks wisely will be delivered. He who gives to the poor will not lack, but he who hides his eyes will have many curses. When the wicked arise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. So for this chapter po, ang napili kong komenta na isang verse lang, ay ito yung verse 9, no, which talks about prayer. So alam natin kung kano ka-crucial ito bilang individual believers and even as a church. But before I go direct sa text natin, mag-establish din muna tayo ng ilang mga truths because we know, pagdating sa katotohanan din ng prayer, parang nabanggit ni Pastor Joey kanina sa teaching, no? Sa fruit, maraming requirement para masabi natin nagbibigay tayo ng fruit. So, another theological term is hindi one-sided yung truth about grace, no? So, ganun din sa prayer. Dagdagan ko maliban sa madalas pinapaalala ng mga pastor sa atin pagdating sa prayer, no, yung isang truth na pagtugon ng Panginoon sa prayer natin, of course, dapat align sa kanyang kalooban. Okay? Nakikita rin natin sa buong Gospels. Second, na always pinapaalala sa atin yung sinabi sa James na not asking amiss para sagutin ng Lord ng prayer natin. Alam natin, requirement yon. But then, magdagdag ako ng dalawang truth. First, yung binanggit naman sa ng Apostle Paul sa doxology niya, yung bago pa magpunta sa commands ng Romans 12, no, Romans 11:35 exactly, that who has ever given to God, that God should repay him. Now, this is not about prayer, but isang katotohanan pagdating natin sa panalangin ay lala tayong patago sa Diyos. Humihingi tayo sa Kanya ng mga bagay sa panalangin out of His sheer mercy and grace. Lagi nyo tatandaan yan. Wala tayong patago sa Kanya para sagutin niya yung panalangin natin. Pangalawa, yung last bago pumunta sa verse is John 14:30 naman, no? Ang sabi ng mismo ang Lord Jesus ang nagsabi nito, no? I will do whatever you ask in my name. Hindi natapos doon sa prayer, so that the Son may bring glory to the Father. Isang angel siya, yung sinasabing ng mga pastor natin, asking in His will, but ito another term, no, that the Son may bring glory to the Father, or yung hinihiling natin, ultimately magbibring ng glory sa Ama. So, yun yung isang katotohanan dito. And side comment lang din, dito nakuha ng mga kapatid natin yung doctrine and theology nila ng name it and claim it. Na para bang magic, yung binanggit ng Panginoong Jesus dito, I will do whatever you ask in my name. May kasunod po, di ba? Bring glory. So, parang, yan, name it and claim it, lalo na yung malala, di ba? Dinedeclare. Nagde-declare sila ng mga bagay sa Diyos para gawin niya. Kung, side comment, no? Declaration po, para lang baka hindi pa naitatama yung theology ng iba sa inyo. By definition pa lang, alam nyo ba, di ba? What is declaration? To declare is to say something official. So, kung best example natin sa pagde-declare, yung mga nakikita nyo, lahat ng bagay na yan, a divine declaration ng Panginoon yan in 6 days, di ba? Dineclare niya lahat na magawa ang lahat ng bagay. And it was official. Okay? Divine declaration nyo, pag isang halimbawa siguro manly or earthly declaration, kapag ang El Senyor Presidente nag-declare, kahit nga mayapang alas 11 ng gabi, no, declare, walang pasok bukas, Lunes. Pampubliko, pribado, estudyante, manggagawa, i-observe natin ang araw ng Lunes para maging holiday, I declare that. Sigurado bukas walang pasok, di ba? Tama po ba? Ngayon, yung mga kapatid nga natin, no, with this theology, dinedeclare nila, I declare healing from diseases, I declare prosperity sa businesses and jobs, worse, no, I declare salvation sa mga lost loved one. But after 1 hour, after 1 day, 1 year, what is the result? Nga. Hindi po ganun mag-declare at hindi talaga ito yung meaning ng verse. Kailangan po ma-establish sa atin yung truth na yan. But then, here comes another truth about prayer. Verse 9. One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Nakita niyo yung poetry and yung figurative language na ginamit ng king sa second line, abomination. Kitang-kita niyo yung incorporation nito, kung alam kong familiar kayo, sa Old Testament, civil laws nila and ceremonial laws doon nagagamit yan. So, di ba, ang nagiging meaning, ang requirement is hearing the law. So, dapat masunurin pa rin tayo talaga sa kalooban ng Diyos tuwing hihingi tayo sa Kanya. Else, yung dalangin lang natin, parang isang kadiring bagay. Pero, pag nagtingin talaga kayo ng comments and Bible notes sa verse na ito, doon niya kayo ituturo napakalalim, kanya sa ceremonial laws, sa civil laws, but I appreciate lalo ito sa mga naka-attend nung summer camp, family camp 2 years ago na hinahost ng SGC about prayer yung tema doon, kung maalala nyo, di ba? Napaliwanag in a snippet ni Pastor Steve, kaya naging paborito na si Pastor Steve after that. Malinaw na malinaw, iba yung angle talagang ginawa niya dito Ang paliwanag niya dito, though not verbatim, sinabi niya dito, kung hindi tayo makikinig sa utos ng Diyos, no? Ngayon, aasahan ba natin pabalik na pakikinggan tayo ng Diyos tuwing mananalangin tayo sa Kanya? Siyempre hindi, kapwa-tao nga lang natin, hindi na yung gagawin How much sa Panginoon? So, I'm bringing this to your hearing again na magpakatino tayo and yun nga, pagdating sa law, we do our best, lalo na sa ating mga mananampalataya, na magkaroon ng heart of obedience. Medyo may kadalian pa pagdating sa mga saints dito before the church age, kasi ang binding lang ng law sa kanila, yun nga yung civil law, ceremonial laws. Pero sa atin ngayon na may mananampalataya na yung madalas-dalas ko nasasabi nyo, diba, gospel laws or commands or church command, Christian commands pagdating pa sa New Testament, ang dami nun. So, mapaalala sa atin na yun, magpapasubmit talaga tayo sa Panginoon in order na para marinig din ng Panginoon ang panalangin natin. Kasi yun, kita natin yung principle dito na kailangan obedient tayo sa Kanya. One thing also is, isang model din dito or one angle lang siguro ng pag-pray is we know na ikino-confess din natin yung mga kasalanan pa natin, o particular dito, yung kasalanan natin of disobedience kasi nga nire-require dito. Maganda lang mabanggit ko rin yung isang model prayer na very great para sa akin, yung binanggit ng Haring David sa Psalm 19 naman, yung forgive me of my hidden faults. So tulong na lang din siguro about prayer in general, na yung mga forgotten or overlooked prayer natin, i-confess natin pa rin. Or ako sa sarili kong experience, pinag-pray ko rin na yung sa mga na-overlook ko na, Panginoon, o sa mga nakalimutan ko na, kung hindi ko man basta may confess, sana ipakita mo para may confess ko siya, i-bring it to light para ma-confess ko siya, knowing also na this truth, verse 9, no, gusto ko pa rin masunod yung utos mo. Sana pakita mo sa akin kung saan ako disobedient sa anumang command mo. And now na napaalala ko nga sa inyo, nawa ay maging tama talaga yung puso natin, maging masunurin tayo sa lahat ng kanyang mga utos para maging mainam at katanggap-tanggap naman ang panalangin natin sa kanya at para sagutin din niya.